Choose a flat area near your building site for hoop assembly. Set up temporary stakes to hold the bows at the correct width while you work. These stakes should be spaced according to your greenhouse width, plus an extra 2 inches to account for the tubing thickness.
Start by laying out 2 half bows on the ground. Position them to form a wide V shape, with the non-swaged ends nearly touching at about a 130-degree angle. Using a tape measure and marker, mark the target locations for the brace bands on each half bow. Refer to the provided chart for the correct measurements based on your greenhouse width.
Take the marked half bows and slide the brace bands onto them. You'll need 2 of the larger brace bands for each half bow. Slide these onto the non-swaged end and position them at the marks you made in the previous step. These bands will later connect to your truss components. Use a ridge connector to connect the tops of the 2 half bows. Use the 2.5-inch bolts and nuts to secure them firmly. Next, prepare your truss bottom cord by sliding 2 of the smaller brace bands onto it. Connect this bottom cord to the bow using the lower brace band on either side. Use the shorter bolts and nuts for this connection, but don't fully tighten them yet. You'll need some flexibility for the next steps. Attach the truss braces to the upper brace band on each bow and the brace bands on the bottom cord. Use bolts and nuts for these connections as well, but again, leave them slightly loose to allow for adjustments. Now comes the important step of aligning everything properly. Take your time to adjust the positions of all components. Ensure they're symmetrical on both sides of the hoop and that the bottom cord is perfectly straight without any bending or deflection. Use a speed square to check that the truss braces form right angles with the bow. Once you're satisfied with the alignment, go tighten all the bolts securely. With your first hoop complete, you'll repeat this entire process for all the remaining hoops in your greenhouse. Use the temporary stakes you set up earlier to maintain a consistent width for each hoop. For efficiency, you can use your first completed hoop as a pattern, building subsequent hoops on top of it to ensure uniformity. Remember to check each hoop for proper alignment and tightness. The end bows on either end of the greenhouse don't have trusses, so you'll only use the half bows and ridge connectors. When you stand these 2 end bows up, make sure the nuts and bolts attaching the half bows to the ridge connector are pointed into the tunnel. If your greenhouse includes a ridge vent, now is the time to add your vent arms and shaft hangers. Consult the ridge vent section of the manual for detailed instructions on incorporating these parts into your hoop assembly.